In this video, I'm going to talk about the number one rule of business. So we're talking about the most important rule of business. And to be honest, this is less like a rule and more like a guiding principle mixed in with a little bit of my opinion. But I think it's a very powerful idea, and so I wanted to share it with all of you. This is a concept I feel very glad that I learned early on in my career, because what I've found is it's very helpful for making strategic decisions. So here is the rule. In business, revenue solves all problems. I'll say it again. Revenue solves all problems. So if you stop and think about it, this is a very profound insight. It doesn't matter what problem you're facing in your business. It could be any problem. Revenue can fix it. So if you were to go out and take any business out there, and double their revenue overnight, I guarantee you their problems would just start to melt away because they'd be swimming in all of this money. So that's the concept. Revenue solves all problems. So just to be clear, revenue may not be the ultimate solution to the problem, but revenue will provide you the resources to fix whatever problem you're dealing with. So when somebody comes to me with a business problem, my first response is always to ask them the question, what are you doing to increase revenues? That is the go-to question, because if you don't have revenue, you can't solve your problem. Let me give you an example of how this plays out. So let's say you have a manufacturing plant. And in this manufacturing plant, you're experiencing quality problems. So your products are coming out at the end of your manufacturing line and they're having this consistent quality problems. Well, how do you solve this problem? You solve it by generating revenue. And this is a tough idea for a lot of people because a lot of people want to tackle this problem head on. But if you don't solve your revenue problem first, you don't have the resources necessary to solve the problem. Because if you have revenue, you can go out and hire a team of quality experts, and that team of quality experts will come in and solve your quality problem. But it's key to understand that it starts with the revenue. So the interesting thing about this is it doesn't just apply to businesses. It applies to any organization, whether you're a nonprofit or whether you're a government. It always starts with revenue, and you need the revenue to tackle whatever problem you're dealing with. So let me explain a little bit why it works this way. If you go to look at any organization's income statement, the income statement will read revenue minus expenses minus taxes equals net income. So if you look at this, revenue is the first line. It all starts with revenue. And if you don't have revenue, you have nothing to pay your expenses. You know, I don't care if you have the greatest staff in the world. If you don't have revenue, you don't have the money to pay your staff. Now that you know this information, what should you do with it? Well, it's my hope that your takeaway from this video is this idea that everybody in an organization is in sales. Sales is not just for the people who sit in your sales department. It is the responsibility of everyone in your organization, even departments that are not typically associated with sales. So the idea here is to think about your company as a sales-oriented organization. If you take a step back and look at all of your departments, you'll realize that every single department has touch points with the customer. And if you can identify those touch points and use every one of these touch points to provide tremendous value to your customer and bring your customer back to generate more sales, then that is a sales-oriented organization. So let me use an example. And I'm going to use the accounting department because that's the department I'm most familiar with. Accounting is one of those departments that people don't normally associate with sales. But in fact, accounting has one of the most important touch points with the customer: collections. So collections is an accounting department, and it's typically removed from sales and separated by a wall. So you want your collections separate from sales for a number of different reasons. But if we think about it and think creatively about this, there's no reason why when your collections person is on the phone with your customer that you can't use that as an opportunity. You could use that to get feedback from your customer. You could use that to build your customer relationship. You could use that to generate more leads that you could then send over to the sales department. So this is what I'm talking about, is just thinking about what your touch points are with your customer. And for accounting, collections is just the most obvious. But accounting actually generates a lot of value for the sales. If you think about accounting departments, accountants set up systems all throughout your organization. So all of these systems really impact every element of your customer's experience. And, if we're really honest here, accountants, accountants love to set up bureaucracies. Accountants love paperwork. And so we have to be careful here, because if we create systems that are overly burdensome and overly cumbersome, customers can feel that. If instead we create accounting systems that are quick, agile, easy to use, a customer will feel that. And when a customer says stuff like, "Your business is easy to do business with," that's a reflection of your accounting department. So when I talk with accounting departments, I always encourage them to think about, how am I impacting the customer experience? Now, I want to end with a big picture perspective of what's going on here with this rule. What this rule is doing is it's focusing everybody in your organization on a central problem: generating more revenue. And what typically happens in an organization is people tend to focus on their own problems. So accounting will think that their problems are the most important, and sales will think that their problems are the most important, and operations will think that their problems are the most important. But what this rule does is it focuses everybody on the central problem of, how do I generate more value for my customer, and do it in a way that leads the customer to give your company more money. Imagine if everybody in your company woke up in the morning thinking, how do I add more value to my customers? That's a very powerful thing, and that is a sales-oriented organization. So the final result of all of this is your customers are happier, you're happier, your business is happier, your staff is happier, and so it's a win-win-win situation. And that is what business is all about. If you think revenue is important, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, click on the subscribe button. I release a new video every week on accounting and corporate finance, so come back and check out next week's video.